I love when I'm able to bring on a friend and a former guest to one of my shows. This will be his third show he's done on my JLJ Media. Um, we've known each other, I just realized, 8 years. So that's a long time. And so we're going to talk about that on the show a little bit, about how we know each other and what he's done. But he is a board certified best of Los Angeles. Like he was best of Los Angeles. Because you were voted that you were top LA plastic surgeon with his practice out in the Valley, in Sherman Oaks. But he's also a SoCal native, like me, of course. So help me welcome my friend, Dr. Elliot Hirsch. Hi.
Thank you. Good to catch up with you. You look, you and I both look a little more gray than the first time we started doing this.
Oh yeah. I blame my daughters, grandchildren, mother. I blame everybody. So yeah,
Yep, yep, me too.
right. So wait a minute, are your kids out of high school yet?
No, actually, my son is about to go into high school next year. Then my daughter is in going to seventh grade next year.
Okay, you have young guys. So you had young kids.
Young
Um,
kids, yeah.
Yeah, so folks at home, we've talked during the pandemic off and on and texted, but he has not been on my show in 5 years. So I just want to start something. So when we met, I got him through a PR person. You first came on August 2017. We talked about earlobe reconstruction.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I was very fascinated by that. And then you and I started talking afterwards, and we kind of became friendly. So we stayed friends. And then in December of 2017, you talked about make sure I get this correct, the BRCA gene mutation.
Yep.
Talked about that. And I had a year off because I had bad Bell's palsy. So I had to say that's another story. And then 2019, I came back. And for another show, he came on. We talked about breast augmentation.
Yes.
And then I said, I can't believe it's been 5 years. In June 2020, during the lockdown, we talked about the COVID protocols for plastic surgery at that time, which you guys were
Hmm.
working on. So I can believe it's been five. I can believe it's been seven. I can believe it's been 8 years and 5.
Think of all the stuff that's changed in the world in LA since over that time.
Yes. Now, my first question to ask you is: we're out of the pandemic. You know, we survived the fires. Also, which we say that we both survived the fires. Um, what is one thing that you've learned during that time period? Oh my God, I love that. Oh my God, it's some scissors. Surgical
Yeah,
scissors.
nice trauma scissors, but they're right
I
in my
love
way.
them.
So
I love it. These folks,
I have my caliper over here. It's my breast measuring caliper.
wow. I've got to say, it's okay. Okay. See, folks, you're getting everything on the show, everything.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I was just thinking, what is one thing you've learned during that time period about your business that you're taking with you now, going forward?
But it's interesting. I think the early on, what I think I've realized is that early on you try to build a business and you want to build it with it just like any business will tell you, you want to build based on a solid foundation. And so you have to make sure that, yeah, obviously you have to could do surgery well. You have to have good customer service. You got to make sure the staff is on the same page. You have the office and all the things that come with it. But I think, now I've kind of learned that with those foundations in place, you still can't force things. And think about all the economic things that we've seen in the past 8 years with COVID and the economy kind of coming up and down. And you have to kind of go with that.
That's very true. Because obviously I'm in business, we're all in business, so we've had to kind of pivot and change. And I remember when I came to your office, it was in 2019. Great
Yeah.
staff, folks, great staff, great office. He was busy in there and stuff, great everything. It was kind of scary during that time period, 2021, a little scary. Then we always had other changes happening in our economy.
Sure.
It has been up and down, and especially in California, especially has had ups and downs.
Oh
Also,
yeah, big time.
so it's been, but we're still here. We're still here.
Still
I,
working.
I like you. I've learned you can't force it, and you kind of just have to just be a little innovative and just like be a little patient and just okay, take a step back and really think about things. I figured
Yeah.
you, probably same for you too.
Absolutely. It's you. What anybody can't force is you can't just like, if I want to do 10 surgeries a week, I can't just do 10 surgeries a week. You have to kind of, and everyone understand that if the economy is bad, people aren't going to be coming in the same volume because they don't have the disposable income that they may have had in the past. But more importantly, you have to be kind of creative about what you're doing and how you're doing it. So you can't just always do the same thing. Say, this is what I do, and that's all I'm going to do. You have to say, well, I can do this now. I can do this now. Find other things that people are they're looking for, and you kind of have to meet people where they are. You have to give people what they want.
Yes. Well, I saw a video the other day, and it was cool. It was about scar removal, and
Yeah.
it was you. He was actually the patient, or whatever, and
Yeah.
whatever. It was hilarious, but it was really good. So is that something that's newish, where it's like you can actually get? I mean, can you talk about that a little bit? Because I was fascinated by that.
So we have a laser in the office, and there's a lot of med spas. There's a lot of different lasers that are out there. And my first laser was maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, but we just got a new one because technology changes so much. And I think that the lasers that we have, like as doctors in the medical practice, it's so much more powerful and versatile than like the random ones that you see out there. So one of the things, because I'm a surgeon, I'm always looking to improve my results and try to help my scars. The laser has specific attachment that to help kind of take the pigment out of scars, help the scars smooth into the surrounding skin. And so I had hernia surgery earlier this year myself. And
Yeah, and I did too. I had it early. Yeah, me too.
did you have a robot or how'd you do it?
Well, it wasn't the robot. It was. He said we're gonna do it the most least invasive way they could, and they went through my belly button.
Oh yeah.
They did. I mean, I was knocked out. So I don't know what else they did to me. I was knocked out, but I had a hernia for several years, and it was like it's time to get it out.
Yeah, for sure. My looking at mine, but it was for me it was hard because I never didn't know when I was going to do it. I have to take time off, and it's just hard to schedule. And we ended up doing it. It was actually the fire week. It was the Friday of the fire week,
Oh,
and we didn't know if the surgery is one of the places I work at. And so one of my friends took care of Dr. Tumari, who's a great general surgeon here in the Valley. He took care of it for me and said, like, if the surgery center is open, we'll do it. But the surgery center is in Tarzana, so we didn't know if they were even going to be open.
it was a, now, well, see, it kind of for folks at home, it kind of started heading towards the valley, but it didn't fully go in.
Yeah.
Thank God, right? I mean, it was heading at one point. They were like, it's heading that direction on the western part of the valley. I was like, oh no, my friends like in Chatsworth and Woodland, like I was getting a little nervous,
Yeah.
but it didn't fully go in.
No, like got to the top of the hill and then it stopped and it didn't come down, thankfully. There was a line. We drove out that night. I remember as the kids were a little bit nervous and I just had surgery earlier that day, so I was kind of out of it. So my wife drove us out to Balboa Park so we could look, to above the basin. And you could see that there was at the top of the hill, there's a line of helicopters and firefighters. It was not going to come over the hill. And so
Yeah.
everybody felt better after seeing that.
Whew, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, so that's a good question though for you. So because you are a surgeon, how do you keep up? Are you required for like do you have like CE stuff or you have to go to conference? Like how do you have to keep up with everything? The latest stuff.
Well, there are we call them CMEs or continuing medical education credits, like little things we have to do every year. Our societies track that. So the American Board of Plastic Surgery, American Society of Plastic Surgery, they track all that stuff for us.
Right.
But I think we also get a monthly journal, a medical journal. As long as you're reading that, keeping up with things, I think you know pretty much what's going on in the specialty.
But I know you're always a person looking out for things too, because
Yeah,
you gave me a product a few years ago and I used it. It was good. It was a skin product.
yeah, yeah.
And it was really good, folks. I still have a little bit left. But I was like, but I used it. I was like, oh, this is really nice. It was like it made your face calm down. It was like a calming agent. So I know for you, you're always looking for other things. So like you said earlier, looking for other things than just saying, I just do breasts. That's it. I just do that. I just do ears. Like you're saying, I feel like you're the type of guy who's like, what else is out there can I add to my services, right?
Absolutely, and that's where it's as a surgeon, we are essentially trading skin for scars. Where every time we make an incision, you're going to have a scar, and so we always looking for ways how do you make the scars less visible, and that's where the laser came in. So we had this new laser we got at the end of last year, and has something specific for scars. And so our nurse practitioner Tricia said, "Can we laser your hernia scars?" And I said, "Yeah, knock yourself out." So we did, and one of them you can barely see it now. The other one. Yeah, it's really great.
It was very cool. Folks, go to Hirsch Plastic Surgery on Instagram. You'll see it's him. He lifts his shirt up. So, folks, ladies, I don't know. You get into surgeons.
Yeah.
No, that's very cool because I know scar stuff, scar removal has always been something that's been out there, the creams and always been in such a situation. So But I mean, is laser the latest thing? Like, is that the thing nowadays for most stuff now? Is laser?
Well, laser has been around for a while, and the concept for lasers and skin is that basically what it does is it punches a bunch of tiny little holes in the skin. And then as the body heals from the tiny little holes, it creates a tightening effect and boosts your collagen levels in the skin, which makes your skin softer and smoother. So I think that for me in my practice, laser it's a little bit more consistent, and we get I think better results from things like peel. So we don't do peels anymore. We just use lasers and microneedling.
Oh, your microneedling, I know that one.
Yeah.
So no more peels. Oh wow, okay,
No.
very good. Are they kind of outdated now, so to speak? I mean, is it kind of?
Well, peels can have a lot of side effects.
Yeah.
You can have a change in the skin coloration, a lot of unanticipated consequences. And so I just feel like microneedling, even for people with darker skin who have more pigmentation, microneedling works well with everybody. And then the lasers are also, I mean, they're pretty effective. So it's hard to fight that.
And the lasers are pretty safe, right? Pretty
Super
safe.
safe. Yeah.
That's that's what I figure. People hear laser. I mean, for my lay person out there, is laser. It's not Star Wars. I'm talking about
Yeah.
this is like these things are safe. That's why they use them because they're safer
Safe
and
and
they're
effective.
less invasive, right?
Yeah, for sure. And they're very effective too. So
And pain wise too is better also, isn't it? There's way less pain, right?
it's like we taking a rubber band snapping against your skin.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's not painful.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So there's folks out there listening, like, "Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff." Um, so what are you offering these days in your office, or your practice? I mean, I know you're doing plastic surgeries and cosmetic things, but what are we offering these days?
Well, the most common things that we're doing, it's still breast surgery. And it's kind of morphed. I remember the first time you and I talked, I was doing a lot of breast cancer reconstruction.
Yes.
So we don't do that quite as often now, but I've been for the past 5 or 6 years been removing and replacing breast implants at a pretty high volume of them. I think what's happened is that with just because implants have been so common, especially in LA since the 60s, 70s, 80s, there's over 300,000 women a year in the US who get breast implants. And so then worldwide, it's even more, and they don't last forever. And I think there's like a critical mass of women now who are in their 50s and 60s who have had implants for a long time and just don't want to have to repeat this in 10, 15 years. And
Yeah.
so they're opting to remove them, or some of them, the younger ones, are opting to replace them.
So wait a minute. Okay. I mean, I know you weren't, or you were a child when they were not born back then, but I'm just wondering, did they tell people back then? Because I know of several women in my life who've gotten new implants. The other ones either exploded or got old or whatever they did it there.
Yeah.
Did they tell them back then these weren't lifelong, or did they not tell them that? I'm like,
I think you hear from patients, some patients tell me that their doctor said they would last forever, which now we know isn't right. But I think a lot of them know like at least deep down that you're going to have to do something at some point to them.
so the first the earlier batches we could say at least lasted 20, 30 years. I get.
Well, they weren't replaced, but so the biggest changes here, I can show you what I'm talking about here.
Oh,
Um,
please show us. I'm doing even better. Yes, show us.
so these implants, these are all gummy bear implants.
Okay.
And so the old implants, they were liquid silicone.
Yes.
And when they ruptured, it was like, a bomb would go off inside the breast and there's silicone everywhere. The new ones from the past, maybe like 15 years or so, they're gummy bears. So if you cut them in half, it looks like you're cutting a gummy bear. So
Okay.
if the implant ruptures, it's all contained within the capsule. It's all contained within this silicone
Thank
shell.
God. That's good. And
Yeah.
I wonder whoever thought of that. That was a great idea, obviously, because I mean, liquid. You don't want that getting in places. Wow, that's interesting. I don't. Like I said, I have a couple of girlfriends of mine who totally had to get redone. They had to get them
Yeah.
taken. And they said, "Oh, I had them since the '80s." I'm like,
No,
wow.
no, no.
Like, I mean, I had to get a new roof this year, so I guess that's what happens out there, folks. I mean, everything does not last forever. You think it will, but it does not. But I was just wondering back then. I'm like, did they tell them that? But I guess they did tell them. Don't worry, it's fine. You got it.
Well,
Uh,
you hope so. You hope so. We certainly now, and we have more consent forms now, and there's all sorts of stuff that we talk about when you're putting implant. But yeah, you never want to go into an implant surgery with the idea that this is going to be your one and done. You always will have some type of something at some point.
so some kind of maintenance issue, we will say.
Maintenance, yeah, maintenance.
Yeah, okay, man, I feel like it's a car, but like, it's a maintenance issue. Okay, no, I guess that's I can understand that part. It's like okay, I can understand that part. But I know, and I want people to know at home too. Sometimes there are um, reconstructive surgery. Like you said, you first you're doing cancer. But there's other things too that happen in life. You may get in a car accident and need something redone or resculpted. So I'm sure you're doing that stuff too, still, right?
Yeah, of course. Yep, we still do that.
That's very good. So how has business been?
I think last year with the economy wasn't super strong last year, so we kind of rode that wave. This year it's been better. I think we're getting into like January is always busy, February is always slow. Then it kind of builds into the summer, and now we're building, and this has been a pretty busy week for me, and next week's busy. And I think May in general was busy. June was super busy. And then in July and August, it'll slow down as people go away on vacation. But then basically at that point, September to the end of the year is just a solid sprint as we just are super, super busy from September to January.
Oh, wait, so why is January busy, you think? Is it because people got new money for Christmas? Or like, what's going on?
But
Why?
January it's always overflow from December. December is the
Oh,
busiest month of the year. And then some people can't get in December, so they do it in January. And also, some kids are out in December. People with kids don't necessarily want to be recovered from surgery, so they'll go on a trip and then they'll come back in January when the kids are back in school.
that's true too. And also, yeah, and also towards the second half of December, we got two holidays
Yeah,
going on. Yeah, that's I guess that's true. But I was like, why? I'm like, why? Because no, because Jan, I always think why I say that, folks at home, is because a lot of times January's busy in several fields, like gyms, like food play, because everybody has a resolution. Like I want a new me, and it's like I just wonder if that was part of that. It's like okay,
yeah. There's probably some aspect of that too, I would imagine.
but I don't think I've ever asked you this question before. But have you ever turned anybody away
All
for
the time.
any reason? Well, do you really? I know.
All the time. Yep.
Wow. What are some? Wait, you can't tell their business obviously. What are some examples of like kind of just like who you would turn away?
The number one, well, the number one and number two examples. Number one is patients who want some type of like a breast reduction or a big body contouring surgery who are overweight, and they won't get as good of the outcome. The surgery is more risky. And then if you do a big tummy tuck and then you lose 30 pounds, you're gonna have more skin.
Right. Right.
So now with Ozempic and Mounjaro and all the different weight loss medications, we recommend just do that beforehand, get your weight where you want it, and then do the surgery.
That makes sense. So people actually come in first. Because that your side makes sense to me. It's like, oh yeah, I'll lose the weight, all the excess skin that's tight, that skin that I'll take care of. They come in before that. That's kind of I never. That's weird. Wow. Yeah.
When you think about it, though, it's I think a lot of people like having something to work towards. And
Oh,
so if you're like, I just want to lose 10 pounds, okay, you can lose 10 pounds. But you say, I want to lose 10 pounds by this specific date so that I can, so that I can fit in a bikini on my trip, so I can have a surgery with Dr. Hirsch, or like whatever you're working towards. I think just psychologically, that's more powerful, and it can help get you to that goal.
yeah. Yeah. We have a friend he just lost a bunch of weight, the natural way, folks, which natural way. But so he has all this excess skin, so he's looking into that next. And I said, I know somebody.
Yeah, send him over. Happy to help.
Yeah, exactly somebody. But yeah, he's still because he didn't realize that would happen. And I was like, well, it depends on every person, obviously. It depends on the elasticity of the skin, obviously.
Sure.
But he had lost a lot of weight. And so I
Yeah.
was like, that to me, even as a former nurse myself, like that makes sense. Looking at it, go, oh yeah, it makes sense. That would happen. And you're a little older and skin's not the same. When if
Not
you're
the same.
20, 25, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I can lose weight in 2 seconds, all that kind of stuff. We get a little older in age, doesn't happen anymore. And this person's entering their 40s. And I said, I remember that time period. I
Oh
remember
yeah. But you remember like with your grandpa and grandma, you could pinch their skin up like this, and then 2 hours later you got to push it back down.
exactly. I was like, but when you're younger, everything's tighter, obviously.
Yeah.
Or they tighten up. What are your, I am also curious too, what are your thoughts on all the BBLs that are happening? Oh, wait,
I think so. So I actually we asked about this a lot, and in full disclosure, I do not do a lot of BBLs,
okay.
and the reason for that is that I like to do surgery that I think is going to be sustainable, meaning that it's going to have like a good long term effect. And number two, should not require a lot of like additional things down the road. Obviously, with the exception of implants, which you go into it knowing you're going to need more. The problem with BBLs is that you're doing. I'm talking like large volume BBLs,
Yeah,
not smaller ones.
that's what I mean. No, you know that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. I think they look great in the beginning,
right.
but once everything settles, once everything heals, because of the amount of fat removal that's being done, I've seen a lot of tracking from liposuction where the abdominal wall is not smooth. You can see the scoring from liposuction, the contour irregularities, and then the biggest issue in the butt is that what we've seen over and over and over and over again, as time passes, the fat sags. And so initially it's really perky, but just like fat sags anywhere else on your body, especially your breasts, your stomach, the butt will sag. And so I've actually done in the past, 3 years, as BBLs have got more common, I've done more revision BBL surgeries than I have BBLs, where essentially at that point you have to do what's called a lower body lift. If you want to make things perky again, you have to tighten the skin along the lower part of the back and basically remove a strip of skin and pull the butt up, because otherwise it looks like a wet diaper as it just hangs down.
So you have to cut from the top to bring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
God, no, it's got it. Okay, I got it. 'Cause I was thinking, well, what about underneath? But no, actually, you're okay. No, I got it. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
I know, but that's why they ask. 'Cause I mean, like, so you go on TikTok, you go on anywhere, just you see so many. I'm talking about the big ones, not the
Yeah,
small.
very good ones. Yeah.
It's like I know it's getting a little glorified, but and you hear those horror stories. They're putting cement in them in Mexico or whatever, and Canada or whatever. I'm like, yeah, those are crazy. But I was like, but I know for some folks, there are some nice ones out there. I mean, there are some nice ones that aren't, nice size, everything.
Yeah.
But I just know they're getting so much attention these days. Like you have to go get one. You have to go. I'm like, well, I mean, I think any lift of any kind would just work just as fine. Right? I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's crazy. Is there anything you guys don't do?
Not really. I mean, there are some things I won't do, like I won't put butt implants in.
Okay.
I don't think butt implants anatomically make a lot of sense just because of where you're putting them in.
No.
Um, they have a lot of complications. They have a lot more contracture. They get hard and tight, muscle damage, nerve damage. So I don't do that. I also actually my nurse practitioner does most of the Botox and fillers, just
Okay.
because as the surgery practice has gotten busier, it's hard for me to keep up with the Botox and the fillers and that stuff. So most of my time in the office is dedicated more towards seeing patients before surgery, seeing patients after surgery, and then less with the Botox and the fillers.
What are your thoughts on calf implants?
Yeah, that's another one I don't do.
I got nice calves, thank God. So I got. But I tell people, my friends like, I got something. I'm like, oh, because I know when people are working out, legs are hard to grow. I got.
Legs are hard to grow.
I say Tina Turner was my grandmother, but I got nice legs. But other folks, I know it's hard. You work up here, everything up here is like these little chicken legs. So my friend said, I got calf implants. I'm like, you got what?
Yeah, right.
I was like, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I know my whole point kind of is that there's so much you can do, I guess. There's this world of business, what you can do. I just always wonder when I talk to plastic surgery, like which ones do you do or not do? I mean, just kind of like we're not judging anybody, just kind of just curious. Okay, there's so
Yeah,
much
of course,
to
of
do out
course. Well, we all kind of like in any field, no matter what you're doing, you tend to just end up in a niche of this is what you do, this is what you like to do, hopefully, and so every so often you'll get a request for something a little bit unusual, and if it's a reasonable patient, we can do it. But things in general like calf implants, butt implants, I'm not sure that we should be doing them even if we can because they have a lot of problems.
Yeah, no, no. How long you been in practice?
That was my 11th year.
Congratulations. That's good.
Yeah,
It
thank
goes by
you.
fast, right? It goes by fast.
Yeah.
It goes by fast. So one of the last things I'm going to ask you is I have to ask, because in every single field we're talking about this, in every single way and shape and form, I'm starting to give into the robots. How is AI in your field? I have to ask. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask.
Yeah,
How
yeah, yeah.
in your field?
Well, thus far, I don't think it's really done anything yet. I know in like some of the electronic medical records systems, you can use AI to write your notes,
Yes.
but that for me, that doesn't really save me any time. Notes don't take that long to do. I saw there is a robot that they have doing basic general surgery like gallbladders and stuff like that. But I don't know, like I've never heard of that application in plastic surgery.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I don't know. So I'm just like, I think that's what AI is everywhere, and everybody's running scared or running to it. So for me, it's helped me with administrative duties and things, like little smaller things, like little.
Sure.
It's still gonna be me on camera talking to you, not an AI version of me. Sorry.
Wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't be the same with a robot version of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, you said they're gonna get them really good, but it's like, no, it's still be me. Dr. Hirsch, thank you for coming on. And you have to
Yeah,
come back,
my pleasure.
of course. If anything major comes up in your field, I might have to call on you, see what you think about it for your opinion.
Yeah, you know where to find me.
I do know where to find you, do. Anyway, how are the figs?
Oh, so that was actually something I wanted to ask you about. Figs are good, but last year I sprouted. I took a bunch of trimmings from the tree and sprouted them. And if you want a tree, I might be able to get you a tree at some point. They just need to grow a little bit more.
Yeah, no, yeah, I will. Y'all come out there and get it. Yeah, I got a huge garden, so I would
Yeah,
love
yeah,
to.
exactly,
And
exactly.
my grandmother used to have a fig tree, and she was 10 blocks down the street. So I know they grow in my neighborhood. I know they
Yeah, they
can.
grow really well. Yeah.
Yeah,
If I can't,
yours
so
grows really well. I know yours
like
goes.
ours goes really well. I have two of them right now. I have to give one to my parents and one to my other friend, and I have another one that I'm not 100% sure if it's going to make it. If that one makes it, I'll give it to you. If not, I'll sprout you a new one, and then later this year or next year, I'll get you a new one.
Yeah, propagation is hard sometimes. I know it's really hard.
Yeah,
Some catch, some don't.
they're hit or miss. Yeah,
Yes, I do want one. If you have one, yeah, okay. I've had his figs before, folks. They're good. And I
yeah, they
like,
really were. Yeah,
no, I love figs. And I like my loquats came in this year, so we're good. We're doing good. We're doing good.
yeah. You ever grill the loquats? I cut them in half and grill them.
I've never. I think you told me that once before. That sounds familiar. You told me that once. I've never done it yet. I've made jelly and jam.
Yeah,
I have I have sautéed them and with fish.
yeah,
Good.
that's
I've
good.
not grilled them yet. No, I eat them off the vine. So I just grab and eat them.
Yeah.
Um,
Try grilling them. It brings out some of the natural sugar.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely and I finally learned that they are basically a Japanese pear. That's the
Oh,
family
interesting.
they're in. I mean, they're not citrus really. They're kind
Yeah,
of not really. They're more of that family.
yeah, they're
I,
good. I love them. Yeah.
oh, I made something too. I do love them. So, folks, Dr. Elliot Hirsch, go to hirschplasticsurgery.com. Go to Hirsch Plastic Surgery on Instagram, Facebook. You can follow him there and see what they're doing over there. Tell them James sent you. If you have any questions, you're afraid to ask them yourself, come to me. I'll connect you guys personally, email or whatever. You guys can talk. 'Cause I know sometimes people are scared to say stuff or afraid to ask questions, and we want you not to be. It's nothing to be afraid about. We want you just to be able to have what you need, have the
That's
answer.
right.
And I would love to send him more business, to send him, make him more busy. That's what I do.
Thanks,
Uh,
James.
my pleasure. I'm James Lott Jr. This is Tighten Up. We're on all the audio streaming services, and we're on YouTube at JLJ Media. We'll talk to you next time.